How'd you spell your surname, James?
Oh my lord! I'm just gonna put it in there.
I want to crack it first.
James Creaky.
I like Hippornismus. I like Hippornismus a lot.
Donkey.
I was close enough. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Common Ground Podcast, your second favourite podcast where we talk about your favourite form of Pauper. I'm joined, as always, with Cameron Storytime Schindler. How's it going, man?
It's going. Who are you? You gotta introduce yourself.
Let's go. Everybody knows me because I'm here every week. Obviously.
Oh, good point. My bad.
Yeah, come on. And of course, the second host, the most important one, is the Thomas Gotta Go Gun. How you doing, man? You alright?
Yo, I'm doing well, and I do gotta go. I have a hard out in a couple of hours.
Oh, you said yo. You stole his thing.
Oh, is that your thing?
Oh, that is his thing.
It's all good. It's all good. We're here to steal people's thunders here. And finally, of course, the last guest, James, the cranky hippo Hieronymus himself. How you doing, man? You alright?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, the good old power of time differences are obviously costing this poor man some sleep, but it's all good. And I'm, of course, Teasdale, if you haven't already recognised. It's great to finally be having this crossover that's well and long overdue.
I agree.
Very overdue.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure already.
What really inspired this is we got a listener email. And Thomas showed me it. My first thought was, okay, we need Teasdale on for this. When I think of like brewing, I just think of you as the brew guy, because really, that's like a lot of your YouTube stuff is like doing some pretty cool, wacky brews. And I guess, do you want to have some shout outs first? Who are you?
Yeah,
for anyone who doesn't know.
If you don't know who I am, where you been? Come on, I'm obviously so well known, duh. No, but in all seriously, I am TeasdaleMTG, also the best podcast, obviously, on Pauper, which is Casting Commons. Just joking. But
no, they're pretty good.
they're all right, they're all right.
Yeah, we're all right. We're doing all right. But yeah, of course, and I basically make YouTube content is the main thing I do, where a lot of the time is I put light onto brews. I basically every single video for them, I say every single, most 90% of them are unique brews, or they're just interesting brews that come out of challenges, and then I'll either get the bug for them and spend a lot of time tweaking them and things like that, or I'll just, as I say, keep moving on to the next cool thing that's from the new set, because we're obviously always in eternal spoiler season.
Oh my gosh.
There's always new cards.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's
so true.
It's been something. It's taken a toll on my kind of love for the game, but that's neither here or there. But do we just want to dive right into it? Thomas, do you want to read this email that inspired the episode?
Before we do, real quick, just a couple quick notes. This coming weekend, I believe, is MagicCon Atlanta over here in the States. If you are going to be there, make sure you go and say hello to James, Hippo Hieronymus. He will be there. And Calicais will also be there. So you can hang out with both and or either of them. But make sure, if you see James, to tell him happy birthday.
Yes!
Any other notes for MagicCon for you, James? We've mentioned it a few weeks now, but...
No, Calicais said his updated time for his meet and greet stuff is 12:30 to 2 on Friday.
Wonderful.
Cool. Go crash the party.
Yeah, go crash it.
Go
tell him hi.
Yeah, no, we've never met him in person. I was trying to think, I'm like,
Well, I got you covered.
You haven't met Calicais in person. Oh, he's such a lovely guy. He's tall.
Have you met him in person?
Yeah. He was doing some work. He was working over here, and he travelled up for a Northern Pauper Open.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool.
He literally drove like 4 hours up and 4 hours down in the same day to go to Leeds for a Pauper event. Yeah.
That's really
cool.
sick.
That's sick.
Awesome sauce.
Now we need you in the States. We can get everybody together.
There we go.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I mean, we can discuss that off the air.
Oh, okay.
Things are not so great over here right now.
It's lovely.
But anyway, international relations aside, So that's MagicCon Atlanta coming up this coming weekend. So we hope James and Calic Guys and the rest of the Magic community will see some of y'all there and maybe play in the Pauper Cup. That's the main Pauper event that'll be happening. So you can go check out that information specifically for the Pauper Cup. The link will be in the show notes. But the only other event that we wanted to shout out is we've been shouting out for our friends at the London Pauper League. They have their third London Pauper Showdown coming up on October 18th, and that's going to be called the Dreaded Return. So make sure you go check that out. Information is in the show notes for that, and that one's also going to be a good time.
And October 5th?
4th
is Team Trios, correct.
Yeah.
So game night, Tennessee and Columbia. If you're in the Middle Tennessee area or the South area, it's kind of a little bit further down south.
And then
it'll be Team Trios. I think it's Pauper, Legacy, Modern,
and Standard.
Oh, Standard. Excuse me. The seat that matters though is Pauper, of
Pauper,
course. So if you want to go play some Pauper,
there is also a win-a-box down in Madison, Alabama, for the Pauper or the Alabama Pauper League, going on October 19th.
Wonderful
as well.
Is it the free one too?
It is the free one.
So free event there.
Free
That's
win-a-box.
Cool.
Yep,
Love that.
free win-a-box.
Look at that. Look at all that Pauper.
Thank you, Peyton, again.
Yeah.
Come out and play some Pauper.
Yeah. And the Thursday League in Nashville at Middle Tennessee Gaming is still going strong.
Yeah, we had 13 people last Thursday.
Dude, I got 4th again on Breakers. So Teasdale, there's like this little league thing that it pays out the top 3 cash. And this is the second time in a row I have gotten 4th on Breakers. And
That's some bad beats, that.
I know. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. But I'm okay if I 3-1 every little thingy.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah,
good
that's like, I'll be okay if I do that. All right. Hit us, Thomas, with this email.
All right, let's dig into it. This came from listener Desert, who sent in this email. Let's dig in here. Heyo, I've been a huge fan of the pod for over a year at this point. I may have a thought worth talking about. I am not certain how to word this question, but I'm brought back to the episode where you reviewed the Jund list sent in and the most recent episode talking about different mono red decks, and I was wondering, what do you think is the current minimum a deck in the current meta needs to be considered competitive? I figured this would depend on the archetype of the deck a little, so maybe a more targeted question would be, does a combo deck need to be able to go off on turn 4-ish, or is it okay to go later? Should a mid-range deck value card draw / card advantage, removal or interaction, or ramp more while deck building? Do the aggro / tempo decks have a turn they need to consistently go off to not be outvalued? Again, I really enjoy listening to your podcast every week. Listener of the pod, Desert. So there's a lot to dig into here.
That was a good question.
I agree. I think this is a really good question. One that I kind of we had a little bit of a mailbag a few weeks ago, and I kind of pulled this one aside. I'm like, everyone's questions are always really, really nice, and
but this one's really,
them.
really good.
This one, every once in a while, there's a really good question, and this is one of those where there's a lot for us to sink our teeth into. And Cameron, like you said, you were really inspired for us to reach out to Teasdale and get him involved here. So I guess we'll start with our guest. Teasdale, where do you start when you what?
He said who when you said we'll start with our guest. He said who, and that cracked me up.
Okay, I got you. Where do we start here? Because I think we want to look at this through the lens of Brewing, but I also think that it's interesting to think about the metagame as a whole and kind of narrowing down what those minimum major archetype points are that you need to make sure you have covered in whatever deck you're playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. My first point of thought there is, obviously they said, what do you think is the current minimum a deck in the current metagame needs to be considered competitive? Every deck that started from somewhere will have not have been considered competitive. So how, what does competitive even look like? Is it just tackling the metagame? Is it just winning your local F&M? And that to me sort of goes to the first point that I would always do is always brew with intent. Is probably where I would start, which is sort of what you're alluding to. Whether no matter what the deck is, it would always be make sure that you are brewing with the metagame in mind, not in a bubble. You don't want to just, okay, I want to build around this card, so I'm just going to jam any card that sort of makes this card look good, and no real thought when there's no point in having a certain card in a deck if it's not very good in the metagame. if that makes sense.
No, I like that point a lot. If you play a lot of paper locals and there's 10 of you and 4 people are always bringing mono red and you're brewing a deck, you're really going to have to consider, how do I not die to mono red on turn 4 every single time? So that is a good point, because nothing really exists in a bubble in Pauper. There's few decks that can try to just completely ignore what the other person's doing, but even then, they're still have to choose cards to be able to ignore what other decks are doing in a really roundabout way.
But I do think there is, like, obviously there is some decks that get away with ignoring it to an extent. Like combo decks is probably the first one I would move towards too, especially fast combo decks in particular.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to take anything into consideration. They're trying to execute their game plan, so they are sort of in a bubble. Like you don't see Cycle Storm playing interaction pieces for mono red or hate pieces in the main. They just want to execute their game plan. They want to execute it quick.
Yeah, and
that's sort of the idea.
It kind of made me think of Brood Scale. You'd see, depending on like the meta, like X copies of Vines of the Vastwood, because that could target opposing Brood Scales. Not Seed of Hope, what was the Gain Life one?
Tameo Safekeeping.
Tameo Safekeeping.
There we go. Or it'd play some number of copies of Duress. We saw some of those kind of sneak into some main boards, but no, I get you for sure.
The point about ignoring certain portions of the metagame is something that I definitely wanted to bring up, where you in figuring out what the minimum of your deck is to be able to handle or like keep up with like either like a competitive meta, like you said, Teasdale, it could just be your local FNM meta, absolutely, but like maybe you want to play in an MTGO challenge, which even then might be a little bit of a different metagame from a larger paper event, because people at larger paper events, people will also sometimes just show up with the deck they really like to play and have tweaked it to be competitive to what they think the meta is, kind of in this vein. Thinking about where your deck idea starts of, okay, what can I ignore? Like you said, with like fast combo decks can potentially ignore some amount of fair gameplay. Like Fog can kind of ignore a lot of traditional beatdown strategies outside of a couple of edge cases of, you do like Crypt Rats needs to look out for the prismatic strands and out of like those types of decks. There are corner cases, but where you do have to think a little bit more, but generally speaking, Fog can kind of ignore most creature decks and with their primary game plan. So if you can kind of isolate which portions of the metagame your deck is already going to be very good against, or sometimes gets to outright ignore, then that can help you narrow down on what you actually need to focus on, because you don't have to try and cover everything. Like, you don't necessarily need to throw breath weapons in your Fog deck. You don't, that's going to be covered, but if you're a deck that struggles against something like say mono red rally and go wide strategies, you might want to make sure you have things like Arms of Adar or breath weapon or just a bunch of spot removal, but you want to make sure that you're the interesting part that I think we'll get into is how to narrow down how minimum that package can be.
Yeah, I think another interesting thing as well is when you get to like combo decks like High Tide and Spy and things like that, and Cycle Storm's another good example. You don't look at decks. I don't see is how I see it. So you don't go right. Okay, I'm Cycle Storm. I need hate for Jund Wildfire. I need Artifact Hate for Affinity. I need breath weapons for mono red. It's what hate pieces are they going to have? I need to be able to answer Nile Spellbomb, I need to answer Relic, I need to answer Fairy Macabre, I need to answer Thraben Charm. Like, you don't go to the point of, I need to hate this deck out. It's, I need to hate specific cards, which then obviously gets a lot of a more vast sort of how you're tackling your meta game to be competitive. Because you might not need to answer Thraben Charm if no one's playing white. You might not need to answer Spellbomb if no one's on Jund Grixis, for example.
No, that makes sense. Almost knowing how other decks will be interacting with you is very important too for whatever brew. And that can just go with almost anything too. Not even just brews as well. Just any metagame consideration.
Yeah, it's important for all the Magic.
And that's why you see just sideboards drastically change. And like, we'll go over challenges and we'll look at the Grixis Affinity list, and we've seen a million times. We're like, I have never seen this card in the sideboard before. I feel like that's a sentence we say quite often.
Every few weeks.
It's like, I've never seen this card before.
Yeah. What point do we want to transition that into? I guess, how do you How do you get the idea for a brew? That's something I feel would be another good jumping off starting point. Like,
because it kind of plays into this idea of you want to attack because I think there's one of two ways you approach brewing. It's either you find something fun you want to play with, or you want to attack the meta from a specific angle that people aren't doing as much.
Yeah, I think obviously for me, myself, when I'm brewing, a lot of my time it's force brewing because I'm brewing around cards for like new sets for content. But a lot of the time though, some decks that I do brew, they sort of have potential, and then I start trying to hone them. Like Spy Elves is one that I've obviously been working on quite a lot recently. If you've checked out any of the videos, like I've lately been doing a Spy Elves video like every week almost, because the deck's just like gripped me, and I'm like, right, how do I make this the most competitive it can be?
Yeah, our buddy Derek was all about that.
Yeah, I was talking a lot with Derek before the Common Ground Cup as well about it, because he really was thinking about taking it, and he was toying between the idea, which was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I was just honoured someone seen the video and wanted to take it. But yeah,
he's a great dude.
Oh yeah, and he's quite a super fan of you guys, I will say.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
it's true.
Thank you. I've gone all red. I'm flustered. But yeah, so basically a lot of my videos, obviously the idea for a deck comes around usually new cards. Like the first, so I had early access for Magic Online, and then I did some sort of ones that I knew would sort of get hyped up. Like obviously Cryogen Relic was a big one, so it's like, right, what card's this like? Okay, it's very similar to Ichor Wellspring. So then, okay, why can't I just try Jund Wildfire but Rug? Why do I need the black? I can just play Perilous Research, was a card that used to see play before, like Fanatical Offering and Deadly Dispute and all that sort of stuff.
That's an old Affinity
like,
card.
I could. Yeah, so I was like, all right, okay, fair enough. I can try this. I can sort of cut the black. I lose refurb. What do I gain? All this sort of stuff. But obviously those videos, it was because the way early access works is you have a very short window to play. So I was just like, right, it doesn't matter how they do, it's just how they look and how the games go. The deck ultimately felt bad, so it felt off. So I never continued with it really, but they do all start off pretty bad because they're always, if you got to think, they're all unrefined piles, right?
Yeah. And how do you differentiate between this is an unrefined pile? I think it needs a little bit tweaking though. Holy crap, this is utter garbage. Like this is going nowhere.
I actually, to be honest, I have no idea. If I'm
That's great.
The best thing I can say is it is literally just vibes. I don't know why. So for example, the first Spy Elves video I did, I played normal elves at that point, which was like Birchlaw Ranger, Jasper Sentinel sort of elves, and then just cut it down to 6 lands, and then added in the spy combo. Like literally just put 4 spies in, 1 Dread Return, 1 Lotleth Giant, and the deck felt terrible. It was just so off. It was unbelievable. Like because obviously the Jasper Sentinel and the Birchlaw make black, which was great for casting all the black spells. But they don't net you mana.
No.
Right?
No.
So like you don't go from 1 to 3, for example. You obviously just go from 1 to 2, but it's potentially black if you need to. And it just felt horrendous. But I just looked at it, I was like, no, there's definitely there is something here. Like when it does the spy thing, it just feels incredibly powerful. It's like there must be something here. And then obviously I reworked the whole deck to have all the mana docs in instead of the Birchlaws and the Jasper Sentinels, and then I just realized I was like, oh, this deck is actually pretty good. But I've tried other decks and they're just, I don't know. I've tried them in tournament practice to see how they feel, and I'm just like, right, okay, delete this deck. This deck has never seen the light of day. You are not a YouTube video. Goodbye.
I honestly like the answer vibes based because that's a lot of my approach with Magic too. I can't tell you why I think this card's good or bad. It's just I've drawn it and it's been terrible, or I've drawn it and it's been super good, and that's the vibe. Yeah. It's bad because it sucks, or it's good because it wins games. Yeah. You know, I know that's a bad answer, but I kind of agree.
That's just kind of the answer. Stamp. End of episode.
Play it. Yeah, play it. You want to know if something's good? Find out.
Yeah.
Play it. Jam it.
Yeah.
So
effort on and find out.
I think that's definitely the biggest thing, right? Is obviously you can brew decks for eons, right? You can just keep, like, I have notes on my phone where I just like, okay, I've got an idea. I've come across this card on Reddit or something that someone's put up and like, oh, that goes well with this card. And then I've brewed a whole entire deck around it. And then I've just never got around to playing it.
Yeah.
So just play games. You'll never find out if these versions of these decks are good or bad until you obviously play them. But they're always going to start off awkward, I guess is probably the correct word, instead of bad, because they are unrefined piles. But you obviously need to get that idea of, is this card good? Is this card working with this? And you won't know until you try out, right?
I think an easy way to kind of start brewing too, because I wouldn't consider myself much of a brewer. Like,
I was gonna say something along those lines of like, I think I'm somewhere in between, and I think James is a little bit more of like, James is very good at finding really good lists with like maybe some niche tech and kind of playing the lists and kind of just bringing your play style spin to it. I don't know if I've necessarily seen you hard brew too much.
It's not really been my thing for a number of years. There was a time like earlier on when I was much less jaded, we'll say, and I would be more willing to do that. But now I am just a kind of look at things that are successful and kind of take them. And
Hippo's aged 15 years in the last 4 years.
It's true.
The pandemic did a number on him.
Hippo's age like dogs confirmed.
Hippo's age like dogs. That's really good. That's a good one.
That is good.
That threw me off. Oh, there we go. Like, I don't think I'm super creative, but one thing I do really, really love is the concept of, I don't know if it's just brewing with training wheels on for me because of this, but I always liked when somebody takes two deck concepts and marries them together.
Yeah.
I kind of like Elf Spy. I think that's a really cool concept, and just, I'll find myself laying in bed at 2 a.m. looking at the Pauper meta, and I'm just like kind of just drawing lines.
How can we get the Gates package in
here?
Well,
mainly that is I'm looking at
how can we put the Gates in here?
Yeah, I'm just looking at decks and saying, how can I put Basilisk Gate in this deck and maybe splash green for Writhing Chrysalis? And and I think that's a fun way to start. Like, for example, Modern, when people were doing Abominable Creativity and the Crashcade and the Rhino stuff, I thought that was really cool.
There was a lot of different versions of those decks going around at that time.
Same thing with Cascade and Domain, and that kind of became like actual standard for a bit. And we see something similar with Walls and Spy too, and now that is just kind of the standard. I liked, back to the Gates example, I liked putting the Gates package in Boros Synth, and I've had some like local success with that. I don't know if it's ever viable, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But there's many faces, all right? Like, Brewing doesn't have to be sitting here, I'm going to make a new deck that's not new. Like, it could be, I'm taking two concepts, or I'm taking an interaction, I'm adding it to another deck.
Yeah.
I don't, like, everyone always thinks, oh, please play your own brews, like, you net deckers, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. There's many different faces of it, right? You can add your own twist on an already existing archetype. That's as much as to me, that's still you brewing your own ideas into an existing archetype. So I don't understand why, like, it doesn't have to be all hard, right? You have made this new deck, but that's how a lot of people see it to me, and I don't really understand that.
That's hard too. But happens pretty frequently in Pauper. Like, we've talked about, Kerplinski champion the black green fog deck, and that was just not a deck before. And it's cool now. It is like the mono red madness deck that was not a list. Teasdale, who'd you say made the deck?
I think from my understanding is it was part of like the God of Pauper Japanese sort of meta game where they were doing very like hidden things in leagues, like 4-0 drop-in and test. And obviously Japanese are famous for having really wacky lists. I can't remember the name of the Japanese, but I think it was like Heterodox had mentioned it in the FAM's Discord about how they'd played this. It was like a 2-mana Electrickery from Kamigawa that dealt 1 damage to each creature, and if it died, it exiled it. And it was like, this is what we've resorted to in the mirror match to deal with Sneaky Snacker of Mono Red Madness and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that is really cool.
But I think that's where it came from, and I sort of seen it somewhere. I think it must have been in the Familiars Discord, which is basically the Familiars Discord is essentially the Pauper Discord at this point. It has everything.
That's funny. And my first exposure to deck was from you. You did a video on it that was really good.
Yeah.
The deck, I saw the deck and I'm like, oh, that looks sick.
Yeah.
And that was sort of it. I was just like, I seen this deck and I did the same. I was like, oh my god, that's sick. This is like, I'm not usually drawn to mono red, right? Generally, that's more Reese's thing. Matt, the co-host of the best podcast. But anyways,
shout out to Reese.
Inferior mustache, but okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
Now you've caught me off guard. So, yeah, usually he goes to all the red, aggressive sort of tempo style decks. I'm more the mid-range, wacky combo, 5-color piles maybe, like that sort of thing. I'm the weird stuff. He's more the boring stuff is the best way I can describe it. But the mono red deck was so unique to me. It was like, this is not really an aggro deck as such. It was more like a combo deck, is how I seen it, with a little bit of an aggro difference. And yeah, I have to play this deck. And a lot of people have said like, I found this mono red deck from you. Like, you're not the first person to say that, which is quite surprising to be honest. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
You got an impact, cool, man. You got an impact.
I'm not Calicized, but we'll get there.
The combo of sacrificing 2 mountains and Fire Blast is pretty good. I do like that combo.
Yeah, trust me. I was gonna say on the topic of sometimes you just like add a card or an interaction, or especially when a new card comes out, like all the way back a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago now, when Murders of Karlov Manor came out and Demand Answers got printed. I was like, Demand Answers sacrificing experimental synthesizer. That sounds really, really cool. And then like I brought that to our locals, and Cameron, you and I split first, and I just like ran through the competition for the day. And like that was really solid, and it made me feel really like it was really fun and exciting for me to like have come up with this idea, championed it on the podcast the week before, and then actually followed through and did well with it. Yeah. And kind of like surprised some people with this engine. And now we have even better draw twos now.
Oh my god.
Than we did then.
Stopped.
So like, yeah, so the deck, that style of burn deck has evolved into what is now the Mono Red Madness deck. Kind of dropping synthesizer for just more draw twos, so that and then in many ways that is better for Fire Blast, because then Fire Blast isn't just chilling on exile and you have to decide if you're going to use it or not. You're just always drawing your cards now, so it's an even better Fire Blast deck in that sort of regard. So like things are improving, things are constantly evolving, but it's cool to see like, oh, I had like a small little tiny piece of that like Fire Blast deck history. Like I did that little thing, talked about it on an episode, and did well at a tournament, and then now it's like continued to grow and expand through all these different pilots. But like having that idea and actually like doing it and like just I think it could be like I imagine there might be some people who might feel some anxiety about trying their own idea out as well, of just like, are people going to judge me if it doesn't do well? Are people, is it going to flop? Like, and I would encourage people to remember that Magic is a game and we're doing this for fun. And if you have those feelings, maybe take a second and recenter yourself or whatever you need to do. But also that like, it can be very rewarding just whether or not you do well, just if you're playing your deck and you're having fun with it. And I just want to like reiterate that as well.
The best feeling in the world is if you're playing like a brew too. When I was playing Naya Gates and I was playing it in the team trios, and I put Armadillo Cloak on my Guardian of the Guild pack, and my opponent like reaches over and he's reading it and he's like, I've never seen this card. And same thing of like, and that one's a little more known, they just never played against Boggles before. But same thing of Honorable Scout, when I played the 1 mana gain 2 life for each creature in the battlefield, and they had 3 sneaky snackers in play, and then I ephemerated it too.
I did something similar to Shelby when we went down to Alabama for the Honorable Scout.
Yeah, it's fun when they pick it up and they're like, what is this? They like, why did they print this? And Apocalypse Block, it was a different time.
Yeah, there's nothing better, to be fair. It's very rewarding for sure. I've heard a lot of people say like a Brewers 5-0 is a 3-2. Yeah. Which is honestly, as soon as I 3-2 with a raw brew, I'm like, yes, let's go.
This is the best deck ever. God, I'm so good at Magic. Well, 5-0s aren't
Pat
real.
myself on the back.
I've never
they're not
met
the
anybody
same.
that 5-0'd. I don't think they're real.
I think I've done it once in my life.
I've done it more than once.
Yes.
I just don't play. I just don't do league play that much.
No.
Right.
I've never picked
Too
up
busy.
Moto.
Too busy cubing over there.
It's true.
Yeah.
Cube podcast confirmed.
Yeah,
There it is. There it is.
yeah.
Yep.
We're
Oh,
getting-
you just wait. There's gonna be
gonna
multiple.
be-
Like
yeah.
half of October is cube episodes.
Yeah, because CubeCon. No, 2 of them are, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
is
half.
half-
Yeah, that's half
October.
October, isn't it? That is how months work, isn't it? Where do we want to go from here? Do you have any specific interaction? Or we're talking about, it's easy to look at 2 different decks or look at the Gates package and throw it in there, but is there like any specific kind of like unique interactions, single cards, or how these 2 or 3 cards react together that specifically inspired a brew that you've done? I know that's a loaded question, but
One of my favorite ones, to be fair, I'll probably keep thinking back, but one of the 2 favorite combos, and most of my combos that inspire these sort of interactions, is the backup combo, which I don't know if you're aware of that one.
No.
The Hangerback Scrounger and Seeker of the something.
of the way? No.
No, it's
Like, you know what pops up when you type an MTG hanger back? Not Scrounger.
is it Hangerback
Is
Scrounger?
it hanger scrounger?
Yeah, I think it's that.
Oh, hanger.
The one with backup.
Yeah, so it's 2 in a red for a 2/1. It's a dwarf pilot. It has backup 1, which means when it enters, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and then
Seeker of the Sky.
if it's another creature that gets the +1/+1 counter, it gains the following ability until end of turn. And the ability Hanger Scrounger has is whenever this creature becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
This feels like some
So-
retraction helix nonsense.
Yeah, so essentially what it does is because Seeker of the Skybreaker is worded as a 1 and a green for a 2/1 elf, and it's untap target creature. Most modern Magic cards now say untap target other creature or another creature, so it can't target itself, where this can target itself. So
Yeah.
basically you put the backup on the Seeker and you just keep tapping and untapping it, and then that basically lets you discard and draw your entire deck.
Wow.
So you can use stuff like Baskin Root Waller as a Madness 0, and then that's 3 creatures in the bin, and you can basically just draw through your entire deck and then Dread Return Lot Left Giant them.
That's pretty sick.
That is really cool.
Cool.
I like that.
So that was one, and then the other combo was the more obvious one, which is the Magmakin? The more recent one,
Yeah,
Magmakin
yes.
Artillerist,
Yep.
and the Ophidian's Eye sort of effect, or Snake Umbra sort of combo.
Yeah, so every time you discard, you ping them for a point.
Yep.
Yep.
So Magma Artillerist is 2 in a red for 1/4. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, it deals that much damage to each opponent. And it has cycling 1 in a red. Whenever you cycle, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. But so
Yep.
you put a Curiosity effect on it, which says whenever it deals damage, draw a card. You get to your cleanup step with 8 cards. You discard, then it'll trigger, draw, discard, trigger, draw.
Yeah.
Because if you put a trigger on the stack in your cleanup step, it makes a new end step. Fun.
You could also use a discard outlet as well. So like you could use like Aquamoeba or Wild Mongrel, or even I've played a card which is probably a blast from the past, which is Oblivion Crown
Yeah, I don't even know what that does.
before. Yeah, it's 1 and a black flash enchantment. Enchant creature has discard a card. Give this creature +1/+1.
It's insane.
Literally all it does.
Oh my
But you can play that and
goodness.
Ophidian's Eye, and you can just flash them both in at the same time
But
because
you-
they both have flash.
You had me at Aquamoeba and Wild Mongrel.
some madness stuff.
Yeah.
Play some Root Wallas. Man, we need
Yeah.
Blazing Root Walla, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, those sort of the wild and wacky ones are always the fun ones. Obviously, Pili-Pal is another one, but that's sort of getting. It's close to being mainstream now. Too many people play that deck, you know.
it's not hipster enough for you.
Pili-Pal.
You got.
Not hipster enough. No. As soon as it reaches Kalikai's channel, I'm like, right, that's mainstream. I'm done. No, but I would say it's probably something along those lines. There's a couple of cool interactions. One I've seen on Strata Games as well. Shout out Strata Games is a really good content creator. Seen the interaction of Squadron Hawk effects and Last Rites,
Oh,
which was pretty cool.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
That's-
Which is a really cool interaction. Obviously, you can play stuff like Sacred Cat and all that sort of stuff. So that just went straight into Black White Gates.
hell
which was
yeah.
actually quite a promising one. Yeah, 4-1 that with the first attempt, and I was like, you know what, there's something here. But again, 3 sets came out straight after, and I just haven't had a chance to revisit it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Now you got my gears turning, because like how could I take that idea and get like a Cauldron Familiar or something or other going?
Yeah,
that could be fun. Little breathless night action. Little breathless night action.
That's a card.
Can we? That is actually a card I'm really excited to revisit with. Let's just say through the Omen paths, so we don't have to get you annoyed again about last week's episode. So, which is actually another interaction I'm pretty happy about, because the new Madness obviously works with Breathless Night.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Exile.
It does.
That's sick.
Ooh.
But yeah, the true secret to brewing is always be on Reddit. Everybody's always thinking of something, and it's always on there. Someone pointed out on the spoiler, was like, wow, this works with Breathless Night. And I'm like, you are correct. Let me start a brewing.
I have noticed that in spoiler season, someone's always noticing some really, really weird interaction I would have never noticed. Like Breathless Night and Mayhem, I would have never like put the 2 and 2 together. And I hope Mayhem shows up. I think the mechanic's cool. I hope we get it in a in-universe set one day too. I hope they revisit that, because I just think the Madness mechanic's really cool. Something about discarding your cards and getting value out of them. It gets it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What does it do, Hippo? What's my new catchphrase? It tickles my balls. That's my new catchphrase.
Jesus.
So kind of going back to the combo deck topic a little bit, Desert asks, how fast does a combo deck have to be for it to be considered competitive? And I guess that can be, especially when Brood Scale was a thing, it's like, why not just play Brood Scale was a big reason.
I think there's the 2 things are, obviously, if you want to be competitive, is in, I would assume as a meta game and not just like a general meta game and not like your local game store sort of meta game. I would always say generally it's a good point to be in a normal, non-interactive, fast combo deck. You want to be able to be as fast as, or disrupt the one that's faster than you, like the most popular one, like as you said, Brood Scale. Brood Scale was a hard one for a lot of decks because they had really good hit, they were really fast when they needed to be, and they could also go the long game. Mm-hmm. So it kind of was a bit of a hard one to tackle. But generally, it's you don't need to be that fast, right? I don't think. You just need to have the right interaction. Mm-hmm. My biggest example to that is Poison Storm, right? Poison Storm's not that fast of a combo deck.
No.
But it has it can sideboard into, or has main deck answers to, whatever interaction you need. So to beat mono red, it can have Breath Weapon in the main, Weather the Storm, it can have Bring the Ending or other sort of interaction, that sort of thing. And then sort of lean into this massive mana advantage and kill your opponent.
I think there's like a good sliding bar of like fast and consistency too. Like if a deck can combo off on turn 1, 0.0 like or 1% or 2% of games, that deck's trash if it's not consistent. But Poison Storm's kind of on the other end of that, where it's not fast at all, but it will do the thing eventually. Like you cannot let it get the turn 10 or
right.
Like it just will do it.
It's all relative though, right? That is one big point. It all is very, very relative to what you want to tackle. I took Poison Storm to Lecco when we went to Paupergeddon, and it was Jund Brood Scale, Black Green Brood Scale, and Jund Wildfire was literally the 3 decks, like the big decks. And I took Poison Storm because I was just like, they're either going to be on Brood Scale or they're going to be on Jund Wildfire to sort of beat Brood Scale. But Poison Storm has this free matchup against Jund Wildfire. I was just like, I'll just beat those and try and 50-50 the Brood Scales that I verse and go from there.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Obviously, I didn't win. So it didn't go well. I versed. So there was 4 or 5 of us went. Every other person who went versed 2 to 5 Jund Wildfires day 1. I versed 0. I was like, literally the deck I wanted to verse all day, every day, I seen 0.
Yep, I've had tournaments like that.
That is Magic.
I was just like, yeah, exactly. It was just one of those things. Turns out the Jund Wildfires were all in the draw brackets, clearly. Drawing with each other.
Fair.
But yeah. I think there is like, you could because there's a lot of combo decks that, like Pilipala's another big one, right? The most common build of it now is like Jund Wildfire-esque. It's like got that sort of Slagwood Bridge, Drossforge Bridge, Wildfire mana base, and then it uses sort of, as you would imagine, Jund Brood Scale was. Mm-hmm. It sort of has that sort of shell with like Duresses and draw spells and Tameo safekeeping to sort of get to that point and then go Pilipala, have it survive a turn, and then put the Careful Cultivation on and go from there. That sort of is a mid-range deck, right? Because it still runs, from memory, it still runs like Writhing Chrysalis. So you can still have this mid-range sort of game plan with Disruption to stop your opponent and then combo off when the like the coast is clear. It's not like, say, Cycle Storm or High Tide where you're trying to push through your combo.
Right.
It's sort of, do you know what I mean? And both could be equally competitive, right? It all depends. It's all relative to the metagame of what obviously you're trying to beat.
Right.
So going on from the other end of combo, the other question they had was, do the aggro/tempo decks have a turn they need to consistently go off by not to get outvalued before you just get drowned in value as our beloved Pauper does?
Yeah, I thought this specific call-out question was really interesting. I specifically really love like aggro tempo decks, especially in other formats as well, where I'm someone who, like, I have a pretty good memory. I like knowing, like, the episode we talked about last week where, like, you identify what your opponent's first land is and you can kind of suss out what they're playing if it's a closed deck list event. I've always been really good at that. I kind of have an encyclopedic memory of all of these different lists. I used to memorize Pokemon and Digimon when I was a kid, like all of that sort of stuff. So like remembering that sort of metagame information is, I think, one of my strong suits as a player. And so I like to play decks like Spirits in Pioneer, Hammer in Modern, where I can get the front foot but know exactly how I need to navigate based on what their first 4 turns are generally going to be, and then attack that and try to find that point where I can get the edge before they can get set up. And that's kind of where your tempo decks really want to focus on. And so I think that it's gonna, for me personally, it's gonna depend immensely. It's always gonna be context dependent of what your opponent is playing and what sort of like aggro tempo deck you're playing. But kind of combining a knowledge of the metagame with a constant gauge of who's the beatdown as well that we talked about a while ago, I think that's going to serve you really, really well in figuring out what those key turns are. Like, I don't know if I can give a specific example, but it's going to be pretty early on in the game. Like, if you're playing something like Mono Blue Terror, if you're on the play, you kind of want to push, like, here's my Delver. If it survives and I can flip it, like you're under the gun right away. And like you might not want to just nice, thanks. Under the gun. You might not want to just press your advantage by holding up blue for counterspell on your turn 2 on the play, unless it's like really important for the matchup to like counter their turn 2 play. But you might want to be able to push your advantage, like upkeep, use a Brainstorm to flip your Delver, and then hold up Spell Pierce or Dispel or something like that. That's kind of how I think about things. Of like it's going to be very early. You're gonna need to make sure you've put your foot down. Of like, this is my role. This is what I want to do. But it comes from understanding if you're the beatdown or not, and understanding exactly what your opponent is on. So it can be tricky.
Exactly that. And I think the big thing as well is analyzing how much pressure as well, because depending on the deck, right, you don't want to overcommit and just lose everything, but you also need to have the ability, like Burning Tree, Rally, or as of old, Cold Author and Bushwhacker. You need to have that sort of balance as well with those to be able to utilize them to turn the corner very quickly while also not overcommitting to, like aggro decks in a sense. I obviously you don't want to just fold to a random Breath Weapon or Crack on Shaman, right?
Yeah.
You want to basically just have enough pressure that you've not overcommitted so that you fold to those, but then also have the ability to go wide with like these sort of big bursts, Guardian's Pledge, Bushwhacker and Cold Author, or Burning Tree and Rally, as I said earlier, is also a good thing. Like obviously another, like Thomas has said there with the Delver, and understanding where these hit pieces are and understand what to sort of fight over or not to commit to and stuff. You can then have the ability to turn the corner with double, triple terror or whatever, or instead of just blindly jamming, I have 4 terrors in my hand, I guess I'll cast them all. Okay, you died to Crack on Shaman and Toxin Analysis. Well, have 2 and keep up a counterspell.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I think both of those decks are trying to thread this, in very different ways, just thread this line of, like you said, navigating around hate versus slamming the door shut, and when to do both is pretty. That's the game, is playing the middle, or knowing when to lean to one extreme or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why something to me like Slivers is pretty medium at the moment, because it can be aggressive, right? It's full of 2-drops, which does make it a bit awkward, and it has its own other problems other than that. But it's a deck you can't hold back on. Is a really big thing, right? So it gets stronger the more you play. You know, you can play your Vigilance or your Lord number 3 or your Lord number, or your thing has, I don't know, tap add all mana, or
they build off each other.
Like you need to, so you just really need to play them all. So then when they do have that hate, you kind of die. Yeah. But your hope is you find the right sliver to be anti-hate, is sort of their tactic, right? So, like, if they're a Grixis or Jund Wildfire, you're hoping you've got a winged, is it a Wingblade sliver or whatever it's called, the blue one that gives them all flying.
Yep.
Okay, so you don't die to crack on Charming, or you make them big enough that they don't die to Breath Weapon, for example.
Yeah, see, I think that's a smart analysis. Just wax. Not what's the word I'm looking
wax
for?
Wax poetic?
Not wax poetic, because that's going on. But
okay.
Another word for brown nosing. What did I say?
I don't know.
Not the brown nose. Your guys' podcast, real quick too. I appreciate how y'all go dive deep in the challenges, and I'll hear you.
Yeah. We
record on Mondays, and so the next day I'll hear y'all's podcast, and sometimes you'll say something, or Reese will say something, and I'm just thinking to myself. Oh, damn, that makes way more sense. Like, that's a smart way to think about it. Like, the slivers thing, I never thought about that. It's not that good because there's a lot of the board wipes around and you need to deploy all your slivers. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so just, no.
It has other problems, right? Mm-hmm. I actually think if, like, what's the name of the land? Is it Ancient Ziggurat? Is that the name of the land from Alara? Yep. That's sort of like a Cavern of Souls that taps for any mana. Thanks, Hippo.
We got an encyclopedia here.
Yeah, we gotta check with our historian.
I think that card obviously would be pretty cracked, obviously, in slivers for that exact reason, because its biggest problem is having plains and forest on turn 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has terrible mana because it can't have tap lands because it needs to play a 1-drop and a 2-drop. But it's got other problems other than that. But yeah. And that is a big one with its threats. It just can't hold back really on its threats, I don't think.
Give us unclaimed territory, you cowards.
That would be pretty sick.
Yes.
I want to make one more note on the tempo game plan here. It's not necessarily, in my experience, it's not necessarily a specific turn, but understanding what specific interactions or points of removal would completely blow you out. Like Teasdale mentioned, and Cameron mentioned kind of navigating around the hate. Like if you're playing Terror, you ideally, you can work your way through like the first Relic of Progenitus, usually, if you're managing your resources. But if you have an opportunity to counter it on the way down with a sideboard and null and then continue going, like that would be even better. So making sure you're being as proactive as possible while not letting the shields down against the absolute worst stuff happening. Like to pull an example from Pioneer Spirits really quickly, the best removal spell in Pioneer is Fatal Push. Single black mana for an instant that destroys any creature of mana value 2 or less, but if a permanent left the battlefield on your side of the field, if Revolt has active, it can kill something with mana value 4 or less, which is most reasonable threats in the Pioneer format, all the way up to, Shieldred or whatever. In Spirits, I have a 3 mana Flash Spirit that when it enters, it's also kind of a temporary counter spell. It can counter a spell, but then it's called Spell Queller, but then if Spell Queller dies, your opponent gets to cast that spell again for free. So it's kind of like an O-ring for your spell on a flash creature, if anything. And that can be really tricky to play around, where you have to find spots where you're going to get good value off of your Spell Queller, but not in spots where your opponent can like sacrifice a blood token to turn on their Fatal Push to be able to exchange 1 mana for 3 mana on your Spell Queller, not only take out your now threat, but also get their spell back for free. And that's a huge punish. That's probably the biggest punish in the Spirit stack. On top of that, or maybe losing your creature too early when it has a curiosity effect on it. And so like those are the moments when I play Spirits and Pioneer that I need to look out for, that I'm exacting my game plan the way I want, but also shielding myself from those things. And I think that in Pauper there are similar things where in in Mono Red Madness, you don't want to just blow all your Fire Blasts into Weather the Storm mana. You want to be able to hold up as much instant speed and be able to play around Weather the Storm as much as possible with your burn deck. Like I mentioned, countering the Relic on the way down from Terror. So these are just things to keep an eye out when you're playing like an aggro or tempo deck, that it might not necessarily be a specific turn, because I think that some of the best aggro players are prepared to play long games with an aggro deck. Like, it's not always just get it done
especially
super
with
fast.
range resolves and
with all these draw twos and card advantage. Absolutely,
churn through your deck.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as much as there is kind of an early turn where it becomes apparent who kind of has the first wave of advantage, and if you can continue that wave through as tempo decks would like to, then you should be golden. But I think that there are specific interactions rather than specific turns for aggro and tempo decks, and in some ways also for combo decks with specific interaction. Like you mentioned earlier, Teasdale, of not necessarily needing to think about playing around certain decks, but playing around certain cards. And that becomes even more apparent, I think, when you're playing a combo deck, when you can get blown out by like Thraben Charm or something like that.
There are cards that are more ubiquitous to the format instead of just specific decks. Like a card that you're more likely to see out of way more decks is like a Relic Progenitus.
Exactly. So yeah, to reiterate that point for sure. So I just wanted to add that point.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, to add to that, I think it's also a good point to think, if you're going to take your turn, is in, as you say there, it's like, what do I lose to? Like, even on not even in a brew instance or a tempo or an aggro deck, just like taking a minute, which I'm not telling myself to do this, because I do this I forget to do this all the time and get blown out. And it's just very much, okay, what do I lose to? Do I play this card here? Like, do I play a Ponder? Or do I hold up this Spell Pierce or a Null for a Relic, as you say? Like, those sort of interactions definitely can lead you to be a better player, for sure. What do I, like, just looking at that perspective, I'm against this deck, what do I lose to right now? Right.
And I think we've all been in positions where we've countered the wrong thing or used the wrong piece of interaction. I can think of when I was playing Fairies against Hippo, he played like a Mirror Enforcer and it let him like block one more turn, and it gave him one more turn. So I'm just like, I'm just going to counterspell. He has one card in hand, I'll just kill him next turn. And then he slammed a Makeshift Munitions and killed all my Fairies. I'm like, well, Thomas, when we were playing forever ago on the RCQ, and something about a Spell Pierce.
Yeah, I didn't. I used a different counter spell instead of my Spell Pierce, and then the Spell Pierce rotted in my hand.
You used a Lofty Denial on this Karn, and I was just like, oh my god, this
I could have Spell Pierced the thing, and then the Spell Pierce. I used a different counter spell.
Yeah,
right, exactly. So yeah, and I just never got to use the Spell Pierce after that. Yeah.
We've all blundered with our interaction before, and I think those are good moments too, because you think about that and another fine line to draw of beating yourself up over it and being like, okay, I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing I actually, as much as I don't like to mention this set because I don't want to get any ears angry,
you better not say Spider-Man,
is one thing that I'm really excited about through the Omen Pass.
It's
good save. You can continue.
Because I actually, and I did a whole video on this about the whole cast down argument. Obviously, I don't think they're massively playable. Like, obviously, all these cards like Venom and I don't know through the Omen Pass versions. I'm sorry, the spells died, but basically, I'm really excited that I hope these cards see some sort of play, because we said on the podcast when we reviewed our Spider-Man cards was that if, say for example, if Venom makes its way into Jund Wildfire and someone's playing 2 copies, and then from that week onwards, people now play 3 cast downs and a terminate, and then nobody plays Venom ever again. Venom's done its job at the fact that moving away from these interaction points where, I need to consider, it's the same with Guardian of the Guild Pact, right? I need to consider terminate against the Guardian of the Guild Pact out of core gates. Cast down is now not free.
You mean Naya gates,
and
right?
Those sort of like, well, I hope not, because I guess they can still cast terminate, but yeah, you know. You have to play Crystallization instead.
Absolutely.
That's a nice spell.
And I think that plays into figuring out what your minimum package is. Like, what is your minimum? What are the minimum requirements for removal suite? And it could be changed. Like, if Desert's question is literally about the exact current meta we find ourselves in, like you're saying, if Venom pops up, if Swarm pops up, if the White Spider-Man pops up, then cast down is not going to be as good. So like if you had to pick 4 minimum removal spells, it might be 2 to 3 cast down and then 1 to 2 of a couple other things. And that might be actually need to stretch out to like 5 or 6 removal spells. Maybe you're a lightning bolt deck, maybe you're a Thraben charm deck, etc. But I think that it's definitely something that we have to consider now. We can't. It's just not free just to cast down potentially.
Yeah.
100%.
Exciting times. Is a pressing thing.
No, I like your point of if it shows up once and then now it showed up once, it showed its face. Now you have to consider that with the cast downs, and it can impact it once. Do you have any other like general brewing tips when playing in paper?
When playing, I don't play much paper nowadays.
I guess
so. I used to when I was a lot younger, because I'm pretty old now. But one thing that I played a lot of standard back in original Zendikar sort of core go sort of era.
Oh hell yeah.
Which is pretty old school, to be fair. But I was very big into Valakut, and I'm very, as I say, I was always into the ramp, the mid-rangey, wacky strategies. And this was long before this kind of got I would say this probably got the itch for me to start brewing and think about things differently and all that sort of stuff. Was I played Green-Red Valakut, which for those that don't know, it was like a Kalni expedition. Valakut is probably well known in some sort of modern deck now. It's Shapeshift or whatever. But this was pre then. And effectively the idea was you play Primeval Titan and then you get 2 Valakuts and then you get a bunch of mountains after that. And you just literally had, I'm going to deal 3, I'm going to deal 3, I'm going to deal 3, I'm going to deal 3. And the idea was to get a Primeval Titan down as early as turn 3. And essentially, what I started, they played a card called Harrow, which I don't know if you know what that card is. It's like an instant.
2 and a green for an instant, sack a land, go get 2 basics?
Yeah, something along them lines. Was the most common thing they played because it was 2 land drops. But it didn't help with getting turn 3 Titan. So effectively what I did is I seen a card called Growth Spasm, which is basically a 3-mana rampant growth, but you make a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn. And essentially what I did is I put a bit of paper into, like, say I had 4 Harrows or 3 Harrows, I can't remember at the time. I put a bit of paper in 2 of the Harrows to basically keep seeing that whenever I drew this card, because I had 3 Harrows in the deck, but I only want to check on 2, for example. I was like, right, okay, I've drew this. This card would have been my Growth Spasm if it was there. Would I have had turn 3 Titan if it was a Growth Spasm? And then basically from that point, I just kept like making mental notes of it and like tallying it up on my like life pad and sort of thing. And then I'd go, oh, okay. It got to so many times that it was quite important. I was like, okay, now I'm putting Growth Spasm in. And then I realized that I actually wanted it. And then, so the sort of tip is basically if you're considering other cards, so say if you have a 4 of, and you're thinking, oh, actually this should be a 2 of, maybe put some note in 2 of the cards, you know, like how you do with Seagate or
Citadel like put a little piece of paper in there or something to mark it.
Yeah, just put a little bit of piece of paper in, and then just think to yourself, like, this sort of like triggers sort of things of, this could be this card, and how often does that come up? And it sort of helps refine, I find it helped refine a lot of lists in paper for me, but that was obviously when I was testing via F&M and things like that.
I like doing that kind of stuff in paper, like being intentional with that, or if you're between 2 slots, like say you're between 2 cards, you just turn it backwards or upside down, and if you're just playing with your buddy, you can just be like, when I draw this is either or the cards, because I want to know what comes up more in the situation. Or just if you're playing in paper, I'm testing this card in here, I'm just going to start with it in my opening hand because I want to know how this works. Or if you're playing Moto, if you're testing the card, play 4 of them so it comes up. If you want to know if a card's good, play 4 of them. You'll find out pretty quick if it's good, if you want to keep drawing it. Or if you draw the 3rd copy, you're like, oh my god, this card's awful. then there you know. Maybe don't play 4.
My general tip is obviously always play 4 ofs in general when you're starting off an initial brew, and always play is probably the 2 biggest tips, right? If you want to test an interaction, just play 4. Just play 4. You will soon realize it is 100% the best thing to do.
I
agree.
Yeah, just give yourself maximum opportunities to figure out whether this is a real thing or not.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, remember to have fun. That's kind of the point, too. Like, it's fun. Like, I have like 3 or 4 brew ideas kicking around in my head at any given time, and I just haven't necessarily had the time. Though I am off on Thursday.
Is one of them Bant Terror
this week? One of them is definitely Bant Terror.
I got an idea for Bant Terror.
Yeah. Oh, so do I. Don't you worry.
I want to play in the Thursday league sometime too.
bring it to Thursday. That'd be
fun.
sick. That would be so sick.
The infamous Bant Terror.
It's so good.
Best deck in the meta.
100%.
Well, after Naya Gates, but
after Naya Gates.
Yeah.
That's true.
James is shaking his head.
Sweet Jesus.
Hippo, we were playing games the other week just in the living room. I was testing that, or playing that Esper Affinity list, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is this the best deck in the format? And Hippo just looks at me, he's like, not every deck you play is the best deck in the format. And then it kind of made me realize, I'm like, I just might be the best player in the format, so every deck I pick up, it just feels like the best deck in the format. So Hippo really opened my eyes to that. I appreciate that, buddy. But this is all I got, please. Silent.
I'm not digging in. I'm not dignifying any of this with an actual
I'm just staring at
response.
Hippo waiting for a response. He's just deadpan looking forward.
Wonderful. I thought it would be cool to take everything that we've kind of discussed and kind of distill it down to back to Desert's original question of what the minimum really looks like in terms of combining these ideas with brewing and the specifics of a tempo aggro deck or a combo deck or anything like that, and bringing it back around to what the minimum your deck needs. We talked about how sometimes your deck can just ignore sections of the metagame, so we take that into account. But then what are the other sort of minimum requirements that we need to make sure that a deck can cover? Like,
Win the game.
Well, yes, it needs a way to win the game. That's for sure.
Like, no, so that's like what probably
do,
starts.
do you need a way to win the game? Rarity would.
Okay, sure, yeah. Fog players too. Which,
No, I have a
you
way to
can
win the
you
game.
can win the game, but it's further down the line. But yes, it is a win condition. But like, how, like, what's your minimum need to navigate around counter spells? Can you handle an aggressive start from an aggressive like creature based deck? Can you tussle with a Writhing Chrysalis? Like, how many removal spells do you, if you're a deck that cares about removal spells, how many should you run? Like that. Distilling all of this that we've kind of discussed down to, and I know that like it could be easy to just say vibes, and there might be some truth to that. Is it like as simple as saying 2 to 3 slots, or is it a matter of what is the thing you need to focus on defensively around your offensive plan, and then kind of prioritize from that?
I have you start if you got a thought.
No, it was more, where do you even start with that?
I know.
Putting it
It's
into
tough.
actual context.
It's tough.
I have a really terrible answer for it. Kind of like what you said. It's so contextual with what you're doing. Not even like an aggro deck, what aggro deck? A combo deck, what combo deck? Everything's so contextual, especially in this game. Those questions you asked, to certain turns, what cards do I play around? What's my win condition? I think those questions this is so like just the spewy nonsense BS I'm about to go off on.
Okay.
But those questions are almost best left answered, and almost a tool for you, the listener, or whoever wants to brew a deck. When you're brewing your deck, just kind of look down that
list
checklist of questions and ask yourself, answer those questions while you're brewing it yourself. I can't give you the answer to
like exact numbers.
Well, how many of X cards should I play in my Whalefin Steel combo deck? I don't know. Play the deck. Like, you play it out and figure it out. Test it. Do you feel like you need this much interaction? Did you feel like I was dying the Writhing Chrysalis a lot? I need answers for Writhing Chrysalis. If I was playing the Glinthawk deck a ton, the Orzhov one, and then Writhing Chrysalis got printed, it's how am I playing around this? My answer was I abandoned ship.
I was just about to say shuffle up a different.
Yeah, exactly. But in reality, it's like, well, I was finding I could beat the first couple Writhing Chrysalises, but honestly, I wanted to be interacting with the graveyard with more Neil Spell Bombs, because them buying them back with Blood Fountain was so annoying. So like stuff like that, it's so contextual. It's hard to answer.
The graveyard's a whole other angle of that too, of like how much graveyard interaction do you need to have? Because even the decks that aren't completely dedicated to the graveyard will have things like Blood Fountain or Pulse of Marasa or things like that. Yeah.
For that question, it's like, well, are you playing Incidental Graveyard? Hey, are you white and playing Thraben Charms? Are you really weak? We see like Fog playing 2 Nihil Spell Bombs. We've seen Boros Synth play Bazooka Bog or a Relics in the main board. And I hate giving answers, non-solid foundational answers, because I didn't really give y'all anything to, oh, he answered that question really well, I can take that and move forward with this. It's more of that wishy-washy, like, well this,
just confirming that like these are definitely good questions to make sure are on your checklist.
And when you're brewing, I think those are such good questions just to keep on the forward of your mind and maybe answer them. And I think what makes Magic fun is not every deck has a good answer to the questions, and that's why decks have bad matchups.
Yeah.
You can't
cover for everything.
But it also another answer might pop up later on, right? Like you could be building a mid-range deck, for example, and you later on down the line realize, oh, I'm losing to X card that I never considered.
Yeah.
And that's why playtesting and getting the numbers right, or you find yourself, I'll have 3 cards for my opponent's Riding Crisis or whatever, and then you realize, oh, wait, I'm actually dying a lot, and I want 5, for example, as you sort of alluded to.
Yeah,
it definitely can change, and it's a spin and wheel to. This is why you need to play these brews outright, or these decks, and you'll just get a vibe from that.
Vibes. There's the answer. Vibe it out.
We've circled back to vibes.
But seriously, like another thing, going back on vibes and what card beat it. Can anyone not remember the days when like mono blue fairies only played Snap as their interaction?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think they've got more enchantments than Bogles to play that many auras nowadays.
It feels like
nuts.
More humans and fairies? You mean mono blue humans?
No, it's definitely a good point. Like there's only so much you can do, and it definitely, I mean, yeah, it comes from actually getting the games in and figuring out what works.
Things are ever changing too. Like
right.
Teasdale just said.
Right.
So that's what makes it fun.
Right.
It feels like Pauper moves pretty slowly for the most part, but even
when things happen, they happen in a big way, though. I think.
Yeah, like I haven't updated my Fey list in a few months, and like I feel like not much has changed. And I like just look at like the current decks. I'm like, oh god, my deck is like out of date. Like I don't have like all the enchantments in the main board. I'm not playing a ton of Steel Sabotages on the sideboard to bounce like the tap lands and the jellyfish and whatnot, but it's besides the point. But any other closing thoughts from anybody? Anything y'all wanted to shove in that didn't get fitted?
For those who are unlike me and just like to play lists that they see, it's an enjoyable time to really work different muscles in your brain like this, like making sure that you've answered all these questions and giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed with something that you put together. It's a rewarding experience.
Yeah. And we encourage it. Like we did over the close to the holidays this past year, we did a little white elephant exchange between the 3 of us where we each brewed up a deck for each other to surprise, shuffle up and play. And that was a blast. Like as much as like they all had varying levels of success. My brew did not do too well in Cameron's hands, unfortunately. It was a little too all over the place.
I got to in-step brainstorm and pick it up.
I thought Cameron was the best Pauper player. What happened there?
I don't know, man.
Oh man.
I don't play enough to maintain my title. So
see, what's nice about Magic is that there's variance. So like it gives other players a chance. Because I will just break out.
Right.
So, no, somebody
Cameron has to make some room for the rest of us.
No, some PT player, I heard him say that. Somebody was like salting off, and I cannot remember who it was for the life of me, but their response was, yeah, Magic's great because it gives players like you a chance to win some games. And I'm like, Jesus. Like that was just like,
whoa.
It was a pretty good burn, but the person was like salting off on him, so yeah, it was deserved. I thought.
Were you gonna say something, Teasdale?
Sure. Was that?
I thought I heard that you were. I'm sorry. I thought I heard you start to say something.
I did tell you my memory was terrible.
Okay.
That's funny. Teasdale, do you have any closing thoughts? Any thoughts you wanted to jam in here that didn't get spoken?
about brewing in particular, like you don't. I think obviously touching on what Hippo said about people that just like to pick decks and sort of run with them, put their own sort of spin on it. I think that is also, as Hippo said, equally as important. That is how we tackle that's how I personally tackle when we're looking at the lists on Casting Commons. So I ask myself, like, as I say, these questions, I'm thinking to myself in my head, when I would brew a deck, what am I thinking I need to tackle? It could be, as you say, Graveyard for Riven Crystals and Jump Wildfire. It could be Riven Crystals in general. It could be Refurb, all that sort of stuff. It could be Terra, X, Y, Z. And I go through this checklist, and then I go through like these sort of decks and why they've got interesting card choices, or why is that for their, it's why we've seen Hippo, you're going to have to jump in on this one. The fish giving draw spell out of like Ponza.
Oh,
Sazakap's Brew?
Yes, that thing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So we've seen that in like green red ramp sideboards.
I have seen this for mono or for the like madness decks as well.
Yeah. Because it's good to, like, if you don't have artifacts or whatever, or you're playing demand answers, you can just play Sazcap's Brew instead of like Robbery or Faithless Looting. And effectively it's a good card for against when Spy was really big. You could literally wait till the combo off, mill the whole graveyard and make them draw 2 cards. And it's like, well, that's cool.
That is funny.
That's pretty sweet.
It's like incredibly cool. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that, those sort of things, like what is how you get to the answers. I find out, why is this card here? Well, what decks are they trying to beat? They're going to try to beat this. Mm-hmm. And if I was picking up a random deck from a challenge or a league, I would look at that and then say, actually, they look a bit cold to this. For my spin, I'd put this in it and this in it.
I had one more little thing here. We've mentioned Thraben Charm a number of times in the episode. I think if you are thinking about how to condense your slots in your brew, or just in your, if you put your own spin on a meta list or something like that, looking at cards like Thraben Charm and other modal cards to try and cover as much ground as possible with as few cards.
Reclamation's a big one
Heritage
now.
Reclamation's a big sideboard card now. So not only thinking about why those cards are there, but thinking about how many applications these cards could have. Because even something like Sazakap's Brew, I never thought about being able to, that's a great way to tackle Spy is just make them draw cards with an empty library and then you win on the spot. You could potentially bring that in if you just need to get, if you have a trampling threat that you want to just get a little bit of extra damage over the line. If you absolutely needed to, you could do that. So like even something like that has like very small edge cases of different ways you could use it. And so I think it's important, especially with modal cards like Thraben Charm, to think about like, this is also my main deck graveyard removal. This is also my main deck enchantment removal. Not just a removal spell if I have a bunch of creatures in play. So it's important to think about all of those different use cases.
I like that. I wanted to shout out to real quick our buddy Austin. We've had him on for the Blade episode. He plays a lot of competitive Magic, and when testing, he'll play some of the most heinous cards I've ever seen. But he'll find something that sticks every now and then. So like, just when you're going through looking at cards, there is something to be said about not leaving any stone unturned and giving all the cards a chance that they deserve. And most times you'll probably, this does suck, but you'll find some hidden gems like the Red God from Standard. He was playing that in VV because it was pinging extra damage and he was just mowing people down with it.
Oh, cool.
And then he said he felt like it gave him a big advantage in the mirror. I'm like, that's really cool. So being thorough with testing and
yes, being open to all ideas.
If you believe in something, believe it too. Mm-hmm.
Put your whole self into it.
Yeah. If you believe in it, prove it.
Don't listen to the haters.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't hate the haters.
Yeah. Whoa, you have to edit that now.
I've had to edit a few already, Cameron.
Again, I wanted to shout out y'all's podcast too, Casting Commons.
Absolutely.
It comes out every Tuesday, and that's kind of a nice...
Well, I try to every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday morning UK time, yeah.
It's nice because that'll come out Tuesday. Like I said, we'll record Monday, and then ours comes out Thursday, so y'all will say something. I'm like, they're going to think we're copying them. y'all are really good about really in-depth diving into like the Moto meta, and like I said, y'all say very crafted thoughts on meta considerations and like why X is happening, so this is why Z is happening, and y'all stay stuff. And I'm just like, I never even considered that. That makes so much more sense in that lens. So I appreciate y'all's lens on that too.
Thank you. We do try. Our biggest problem right now is it's hard to differentiate when a meta's solved. It's hard for an episode to sound unique. So, which is pretty hard. Yeah. Hard for us at the moment.
Yeah.
That's fair.
There have been episodes where we've been like, we don't really want to talk about the challenges this week.
That's most episodes now.
Now, yeah.
It depends on like the topic we go to. Yeah,
but also kind of like we kind of differentiate a little. Like y'all kind of dig in a little deeper, and we kind of do like a quick little overview at the end of the show. It's kind of nice to have different shows focusing on different things. I think that's good for a wider audience, so we can like share audiences between shows.
Yeah.
I think
it's not competition either.
Right. Exactly.
No one's listening to either or.
Right.
Like Derek loves us.
You
both.
must listen to me.
I mean, we've established that this is their second favorite Pauper podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and thank you for your hospitality too, because I think when I made like a Reddit post the 5th or 4th episode, you DM me and you're super chill, and you were just like, "Yeah, hey, welcome to the content creation space," and you were just immediately super chill. Yeah, so appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Where I do honestly, my memory is terrible. I do genuinely apologize, but yeah, no, it is. I think Pauper in general in the content space is very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very.
I get a lot of DMs from obviously other content creators that say the same, like, "Oh, I liked your video," or "Oh, this is cool," like, and vice versa. Like, I send it, "Oh, I really enjoyed this video." It's pretty cool. Very welcoming space.
Because y'all and Cali guys and been nothing but super chill. Mm-hmm. So this was a long time overdue. It was super fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Agreed.
Where can the folks find you?
So you can find me on Twitter, or X as it's now called. Sorry.
Nah, it's Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
Yeah. That other one, the one with the butterfly, BlueSky.
Yeah.
I'm on there as well. And main important ones though, you can find me on YouTube at TeasdaleMTG, of course. And you can find me and my co-host Reese, where we talk about your favourite format, Pauper, at Casting Commons. And we also have a Twitter as well there, and that's at Casting Commons 1. And we are both on Spotify and YouTube. We
need to do a poll. We need to have a mustache competition, me and Reese.
Yeah.
Get a little poll on somewhere.
I think that is long overdue.
That is, I don't know,
sure.
Like do a giveaway or something for that votes in the poll, or do something funny like that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. Cash off.
Yeah. Are we wrapping it up? Is that it? Do I do the who does the if you made it this far?
I think you can do it.
Okay. Yeah. I almost just did the intro. I'm all messed up. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, life advice, anything,
I am accepting all life advice.
Yeah, we're obsessed. We're open to it. Give us your wisdom. You can send those to commongroundmtgpod@gmail.com. That is in the description, as well as our Discord. Our Discord's super cool. We got awesome people like Teasdale.
Teasdale.
You can go tag Teasdale.
And Derek Smith.
And Derek. Oh my God.
Mentioned on the show.
Yeah, Derek, you can ping him at any time, talk about Pauper, and
he will
he might show up at your home, right?
He might have to call out from work listening to this episode.
Yeah. I love Derek. He's always ready to give me thoughts about Pauper and stuff, and share them too, and good thoughts too.
Very
thought-provoking people.
Derek is good people.
Derek is such good people.
He's very good.
We love Derek. What a monster of a player too. 5 stars. Put him in there. We're at 93 for reviews. I want to get to 100.
Oh, that would be sick. 100 before 100.
Oh, did we say what episode this was, by the way? I don't think we ever
It'll
did.
say it says it. It's
That's fine. It'll say
it's 94. Oh, because I was excited to be like, this is the year I was born.
94?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Good
That's
year.
not your fault, Teasdale. We didn't tell you it was in the...
Right.
We forgot to tell you it was part of the thing.
It's getting up there.
Restart the whole thing. Come on, let's re-record.
Yeah, re-record. Were you 96 Hippo?
96.
I'll be 99, so it's coming up for all of us.
Yeah, they're all boom.
I know.
Look at that.
I'm a 90s baby. I remember 9/11.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
Teasdale, where were you? Where were you? They say you always remember.
Yeah.
Like just getting out of school or something,
Well, it probably
right?
doesn't matter from over there.
I don't know.
No, it was a big deal.
Was it? Was it a big deal over there?
in a lot of places.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't a big deal. I was pretty young. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it registered really what it was. To be fair,
Right.
I'm an untraveled American. I don't. Did I miss anything? Discord, join it.
No, you
email,
got that. Yep.
5 stars, reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
I think we got it. Yeah.
Get home safe.
Thank you again so much, Teasdale, for being on. Really, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Indeed. Thank
No,
you very
it was a
much.
blast. Long overdue. Very, very long overdue.
very much so.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out some more crossover stuff, what that looks like. I know
Absolutely.
Thompson and Hippo play Moto, so I don't know if we can do it,
yes.
do a face-off sometime.
Oh,
That would be
pretty cool.
really, really fun. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
I thought this was just private conversation at this point. I thought we
Oh,
were
no.
just all
No, we
four of
hadn't
us
actually
chatting.
said goodbye.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Peace out.
Later, everyone.
I'm getting out of y'all's cars.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's right.
Yes. There we go. Perfect. Maybe one day we'll get sponsored to come play in Pauper too. I mean, we can
Now that would be sick.
meet you down there.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Just maybe one day we'll get sponsored and just leave it at that.
Yeah, no.
Just leave it there.
We got to look into Raid Shadow Legends and Heavy Play. It seems like
Oh
they
my
sponsor
God.
everybody.
That's what it is.
But then you got to play sleeves. So.
Can't do it.
On that note,
That's not going in, I'm sure. No, don't. No, Randy from Heavy Play is gonna. He's gonna blacklist us.
no, Heavy's their other stuff is great, like their
Oh,
deck
yeah.
boxes and their
Let's
maps.
fucking show them for free. That costs money.
Okay,
you have to
all right.
bleep the name.
You're right.
You have to bleep the company name now when you say that.
All right. Well, I have plenty to work with here now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You choose what embed you want.
great.
There's 9/11. There's dog watering.
Dunking on a
ex-company
potential
name.
sponsor.
Yeah, there's.
It's perfect. Great.
Yeah.
Just your average behind the scenes of Common Ground.